Hey, what's up? I'm Al Cox. I play games, make games, and everything in between. And today we are checking out the smart asset Swipe 3 Lanes. I'm going to go into the asset, check out the nodes that make up this asset, and give examples of how you can use it in a gameplay, just to touch the surface of how you can make a game from it. So let's go. If you want to learn BuildBox or curious about how BuildBox works, be sure to like and subscribe as I go through a bunch of different assets and functionality within the software. We got the Swipe 3 lanes. Now that we got the visual concept, let's dive in and see what's actually going on. Here we can see the smart asset is right here. We always want to start out at the start scene. We can see that this has physics and it's set to kinematic, which makes sense as kinematic can move throughout the world while being controlled by the player. The purple nodes are custom nodes that only exist within the smart asset itself. However, you can take these nodes, so copy, and I can go into this cube object and paste. Nope, not working. Copy, paste. Some of these nodes are custom. I think it's useful to go through and take a look at all the smart assets, understand how they work. When you're in the middle of creating a game, you can just pull the nodes from the left-hand side and recreate a smart asset on your own. Before you do that, it's helpful to know how the smart assets are constructed with the individual nodes, what's the custom nodes, and what's the node that you can reuse all over the place. If Collide, probably the most used node in BuildBox. Here you can have it set to if collide. In this specific case, it's set to an enemy. Usually you're gonna want to set it to an enemy or a platform. Sometimes you can set the affected asset to specific collision groups. Here we can look at cube and there's a collision group of none. Always double verify that this works properly, because the older versions of BuildBox, if you had something set to if collide enemy, didn't always work. You needed to specifically set affected asset to that object and not the collision group. I'm letting you know of this because it's better to know that BuildBox wasn't always perfect than to assume that it's going to work perfectly. Next we have if collide, then defeat, and then defeat will lead to this cool little animation. This is a delay node that then goes to an event observer node, which takes you out of the screen and into a UI. And here there is no UI, so we can even add a new UI screen, call it game over. And we want this event observer here so that we can name this game over. And we can see that the event type is game over. And I'm going to add a navigation button and then a default message button. And this will say restart. And then this navigation button will restart it. So we can connect this. And now I'm going to move the 3 swipe lane to make it a character. Let's pull this character here into the world. We can move this one over. Scene. Rename it 1, remove the character from the first scene, copy this one, rename it 2, rename the scene 2. Looking in the Swipe 3 lane node, we can see that, and here's the code. So if you know coding JavaScript or know somebody who knows JavaScript, they can go in here and make better sense of what's going on and possibly do more innovative things within BuildBox if you know how to code. So it looks like this is left lane at -4 offset speed, -20. This is the center lane, it looks like at -20, offset of 0, then offset of 4, x-axis. And this is to the right, and then this is jump. So each time you swipe the character left, right, it will cause a jump to happen at Y2. And the jump limit 0 means it can jump an infinite amount of times. Let's go to the 3D world. Let's take the camera and move it along the game path. The previous example did not do that. And it looks like it automatically is going into the game over event observer. So there is no collision with the enemy happening yet, so I'm not sure why. Now, this is just the game UI, not the game over UI. So let's go ahead and do that. So in the game UI, we can remove these, but we keep the event observer because this is still the game over UI. And if this gets called, this navigation button should be to restart. Let's see how that looks. cool. We're getting there. Let's go ahead and move the camera back. This button has your camera view. I like doing that. Looks like we do need to move this guy up a little bit. Let's go ahead and get out of the camera view, and let's go ahead and make this smaller. Making objects smaller, it makes the world bigger, actually. And these cubes are set to no physics. Let's go ahead and make it dynamic, and let's jump in. So here we got the character flying in the air, which is because it's set to kinematic. So we want to take this and move it way down here. It doesn't have to be on the ground, but definitely close. And let's check it out. Okay, so now we're moving. And we're going through the object, which is not what we want. So let's take a look. So mainly we're worried about the object of the swipe through lane. So let's hit here to look at the collision. You know what a good example to do is to just run everything on debug. So debug and reset. Okay, it looks like some of these objects have physics and some of them do not. And I think honestly, it's not so much that they don't have physics, it's that the physics, the collision area. So let's do this. Just checking the collision shape area, and it looks to be good. Okay, here we go. Here's the problem. The collision shape of the character is a sphere, and that is set at the start right here. Collision shape cube. Nope, that's good. If collide is a cube. All right, somewhere this has a sphere, collision shaped sphere right there. If collide with enemy, and we're gonna want that to be a cube. And now we are good to go, and everything. Oh, still going through the objects. That's not what we want. Here it seems to be working properly. I'm gonna check cube set to dynamic. Okay, set to dynamic. Affected asset, we'll just set it to character. Oh, you know what? If you do that, then it'll fall through the ground. But why is it missing? It's got the 3D shape, but for some reason, okay, I'm gonna go into the swipe lane move. We're gonna go to 3. We're gonna change the move. Move this cube to the 3 coordinate. So that's the swipe through lanes. You got definite potential. I've seen games in the past where you're just trying to get the cube to go through the same color or a different color. A lot of options you can choose here. The biggest takeaway from this is using that jump node in between all of the swiping nodes. This shows a great way to combine different nodes, use them together on top of each other to multiply the effect of whatever game mechanic you're trying to represent in a 3D world. A lot of fun. If you found this video useful, please like and subscribe. So until next time, keep making games, and I'll see you later. Peace.